So, good afternoon, viewers, and welcome to Career Pathshala. We are on our half mark to Career Pathshala with 2 weeks of very valuable and knowledgeable sessions from some of the biggest experts from companies from Google to Cognizant, Persistent, and we also had a very a good panel discussion with the HRs on the COVID placement scenario. And today we have a very important session with subject matter experts, people who want to know more about how technology is going to integrate with things around them. We have with us today a very expert from the uh, end where technology is influencing every aspect of life, which is Internet of Things. So Capgemini has a very special role, and they are leading in Internet of Things. Also, they have a very dedicated research lab. So we have fortunate enough to have Manish sir joining us in few seconds from now, and we just wait for viewers to join in, and let's have some more viewers. We join in Manish sir in a couple of seconds from now. So hold your seats. A very important session for people who know IoT or people who don't know much about IoT. Thank you so much for being on the show. And today I have with me Pratham. Welcome, Pratham, to Career Pathshala,
Good afternoon, sir. Thank
student
you,
of
sir.
computer science. Sure.
Welcome all the
So,
viewers.
yes, any moment we can have, we are expecting Manish sir to join in. Any moment we can have him at our studio and we connect him. So, viewers, today is a very important session. Manish sir comes with a background of uh, computer science, and he has seen the industry growing. He's quite a senior person, and he will definitely be able to address all your queries on IoT. So I think yes, we have Manish sir on the show, so we take him live, sir. Namaskar, sir. Welcome to Career Pathshala, and we thank you for taking out time and joining us in this very important show. And the topic which you are going to take is influencing industry and academia a big way. A big thanks from all the chapters of CII Young Indias across the country, and on behalf of students, we welcome you, sir, and thank you for joining in for today's special session on carriers in Internet of Things. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Garg, for inviting me for such a great forum that you have organized through the CI chapter. And when I got the news to present on the CI forum, I was pretty much excited. Always an interaction with the youth of India is nice to have. And if any way I can help them with my experiences, that I have how I have grown in my career, and along with that, if I can throw some light on this recent technologies and today's topic about IoT, that would be a small piece of contribution from my side to my countrymates. And I really like the forum that you have set up, inviting the people who have excelled in their careers across various industries, giving the our students, youth of India, a very good understanding about this at the beginning of their career and how they can go about it. So I am pretty much excited, looking forward to today's session and have a good interaction. I am not expecting a monologue, but I would like to have a certainly more interactive dialogue. And today I will be covering some of the things from an industry perspective, what the IoT is all about, and how it applies in various sectors at Capgemini. What are we doing about it, and how you can make a career in IoT, and what all it needs to be done from your end to make a successful IoT career.
Yes, sir, very much indeed. And a person like you with your experience and Capgemini very popular among colleges, known for the type of bulk hiring on with some premium colleges. We are definitely getting students from a lot of colleges joining in, and Pratham is one of the student. Pratham, I request you now to please welcome Manish sir, and if you can just read the introduction about Manish sir, please,
Yes,
Pratham.
sir. A very good afternoon to all the dignitaries and our viewers. I am Pratham Jain, currently pursuing computer science engineering. I would like to welcome Manish Balko, sir, who is the director of Capgemini, to provide us information regarding Internet of Things, which is also popularly known as IoT. Manish sir has overall experience of 19 years. Sir is a specialist in digital transformation and innovation platform with a demonstrated history of working in the IT industry. He is also skilled in the pre-sales, enterprise architecture, product development, strategic planning, etc. We welcome you again, sir. We are so obliged to have you in our platform. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Pratham.
So thank you, Pratham, for introducing Sir with us. And I was just talking to Sir the way he has seen the IT industry growing from C++ in his times of engineering. He's a computer science engineer, so that type of from the era of a single machine programming to a cloud programming, it is definitely a very phenomenal journey of learning Manish sir has gone through, and having such expertise people in our show with carrying so much experience, seeing the IT domain totally changing, we really are blessed our viewers will definitely take the best out of this session. So over to you, Manish sir. We just wanted to know more about your opening remarks and a bit of your journey, how you your college days and how you took to come to IT industry, your the journey till now. If you can throw some light, so it will be really inspiring for a lot of youngsters to get learning from you.
Yeah, certainly. I would like to throw some light and revive the memories of past 19 years by having a quick introduction about myself. I started. I did my graduation in computer engineering from Mumbai University from Father Agnel College in Vashi, and that was back in 2001 when computers had just begun. The Y2K wave was just over, and everybody was looking as computer could be a next booming thing. But there were people were in two minds. No, either this could your career could go high up, or no, you never know where it will end, right? Because it was just a new thing in the market, and I was certainly fascinated by these computers because. No, I think that was the happening thing when I did my 12th. I had taken computers as a vocational course, and then I had decided that if I want to do any further graduation, it will be in computer engineering. Otherwise, I am not going to pursue any degree. So that was my focus and passion towards pursuing computer engineering. And in those days, I think we started with basic COBOL, C++, C kind of programming languages. And since then, in past 19 years, the technology has evolved so drastically that some of these technologies that I talk are kind of become obsolete as of today, so to say, right? But however, they definitely set a good foundation as a developer or as a programmer, right? It sets your concepts well in object oriented programming, or no, in procedural language, how you should write, the how you should think logically from structuring your algorithms, and know how you should put together the logic. So I think although we say that these are the technologies of past, but certainly they set your foundation, and that has helped over a period of years to for me to be relevant in the industry. And at the college, I was pretty much good in the academics. I was among the top five in most of my semesters. And that time we didn't have any CGPA scores or those kind of things, but we had like no actual percentages. So I think most of the time I had cleared everything in distinction and first class. So even I at the fourth year I was fortunate enough to get placed in the second company that came to our campus. It was Patni Computer Technologies, and from there on my career began. And I have been fortunate that I got job in my hometown itself, in Mumbai itself. So all along, most of the journey has been in my hometown. I didn't have to go across. While in the IT industry, you have to be really flexible to come from remote places to the Silicon Valley like Bangalore or Mumbai, or places like Noida. So people have to do a lot of struggle to get into this places from their remote areas. So I do consider myself to be fortunate, getting a job in my place of stay itself. And there on my journey began. Initially, I started as a developer. I got trained in the e-commerce background that time. I think Java and all those technologies were booming. So went through a 2 month training program, holistic, end-to-end from servlet, Java, and JSP, all those. Now we will term this as all like mainframe or legacy. But these were the foundational things that we went through, and struts based application development, VB.NET, all those kind of any e-commerce stream would like to have all that set of technology. We were trained in that. After that, I got posted for a client for North America, working on a website design. And then slowly, I started taking up higher roles and higher complexity of technology. Moved on to doing some large application development. I had an opportunity to work in US for a long-term assignment, and got a exposure working directly with client at on-site. I was playing a role of technical lead there, and worked on a totally different ERP systems. However, it had a background of Java customizations on top of ERP and all. So starting from a Java e-commerce platform, moving on to ERP, customizing those ERPs using Java was a good experience. Thereon, I moved on to portal development. So I, from a tech lead, I moved on to a designer and an architect. Then I started handling more larger complex engagement, from a content management system to enterprise service bus integration, all those kind of things that were at the top. I was fortunate to get those kind of experiences. As the industry was moving, even my experiences were relevant with the latest things in the technology. Post that, I was managing a large portfolio of development program, and then I got a really an opportunity from my seniors, where I was asked to develop something innovative or creative, completely with based on my experience and thought. That was way back in 2014. I was asked to develop how can you skill the freshers in a very quick time and on the technologies and deploy them onto projects, right? So whatever the technology is relevant at that time, how do we package them and make sure that our members who are fresh out of college, they pick up those things in a short time with the best practices from industry, and get deployed onto projects. So that was a good experience about competency building. And then I started focusing on emerging technology incubation. While that was the exposure I got, I was fortunate enough to work in different geographies. I had some consulting engagements in Europe, and also worked in Mexico for a short time, where I was responsible for setting up a center for the Patni computers, which was taken over by iGate and then ultimately Capgemini. So for past 19 years, I have been although I have not been switching jobs, the organization has changed for me. Okay, and proud to be growing from a small size organization to a large a multinational company which is having a global presence across all the continents. So I got a good amount of geographical exposure, then multi-technology experience. And the past 5 6 years, I have been working on strategy formation and innovation building, center of excellences, architecture practices, labs and all those things, right? So the journey towards past 5 6 years has been more exciting. While there was certainly a fear of, how would I be able to do something based on the thoughts that I would put together, right? Is it relevant? Is it going to make sense? Is it going to bring business? All these thoughts certainly used to come, but it was my seniors who they encouraged me, to apply myself, and also provided time to, invest into such things and then succeed, right? I think that is very critical, when you are doing such kind of adventurous explorations, where even there has to be good amount of support. If you are, while experimenting, there could be failures, and post failure there could be success, right? So this was something that I would attribute back to the organization, the support provided from my seniors, and the talent that they have seen, in me. How you can break the ambiguity and, structure something to yield some concrete outcomes out of it, right? So past 5 6 years have been, more of how I can deal with more ambiguous nature, and that's how I have, eventually landed up in an IoT. Okay, although I am not an electronics student, typically, if you have good electronics background, you can know, it will be easier for you to understand the IoT concepts better. However, it is not a mandate or a limitation. But no, as you see, I have gone through a different set of technologies, different set of, roles in architecture, technology, and management. It helped me to, come up with a knack for doing some strategy development and all those things, right? So in that journey, I think, I'm proud to set up, like every year for past 5 6 years, I have set up at least three COEs. One is on Predix, which is GE's IoT platform. Then emerging technology COE, which was responsible for incubation of blockchain, AIML, or IoT, all the, whatever the latest and greatest in the market, all those technologies that you talk about. This COE has, incubated those for the organization. And then recently, I have been involved, in architecture COE, and a part of now Chief Technology Innovation Office, responsible for innovation and solution development. So this is what my career has been. And also, while doing this activity, I was certainly associated with, the corporate social responsibility department. So I was actively contributing for society and nature, while, through the channels that corporate has offered. Last year we had zero plastic drive at our campus, and it was executed quite successfully. My team won for, for on the floor demonstrating that. So I think it is not just about work, but some extracurricular activities that, that will keep you engaged, and, give some boost and connect with some people outside your, regular work area also, right? That's how you develop some networking capabilities, right? So these are some of the recognitions that I have got. And if you see that whatever the COEs that I have created, right, you can see I got some, the COE awards for, consistently for, those kind of creations, and even Delivery Diamond Award, which is one of the top most award in Capgemini, I got for creation of the research lab that Dr. Anuj mentioned that we have. So. I think this is what in the past 5 years that, we have been, doing some very exciting work in terms of research and technology. This has been my recent journey, and if you see, it is not just about doing research, right? The management would expect some kind of business outcomes as well, right? So if you see, there has to be some revenue outcomes coming out of it. And if you and so it was more about developing a talent right from the juniors to reskill the some of the seniors. And what I have found the most exciting thing is the freshers who come out of the college, or the young professionals who come out of the college. They are quite flexible enough and quite enthusiastic lot to pick up such technologies, and which is very essential in learning emerging technologies. So this has been my experience with, dealing the with the young professionals. And that also helped me to, conceptualize a lab which is specializing today in IoT, blockchain, RPA, AML, DevOps. We have a lot of working solutions and demos and it also helps to demonstrate this to the academia people as a industrial visit. And also we are presenting during the client visit. These are some of the what you call cutting edge demonstrations that we do, and help convince client that we are the right partners for their digital transformation. So in short, I think the journey has been quite adventurous, and I have been continuously adapting and reshaping as per the business and industry trends from past 19 years today. If you see, starting from a C or Java kind of programming, I have ended up into a cloud platform and a variety of technologies along with the team that I have built.
Very true, and thank you for this experience sharing. I insisted Manish sir to please share his experience because you can't find being a director in such a company like Capgemini, which is among the top company of the world into IT domain, and how it seems like just instantly you just jump. It's very long journey, a continuous journey of learning, coming up with change, with the new business demands. And this actually gives a very good path finder for a lot of students who want to make their careers. The journey 15 20 years back was different. The next 20 years is going to be definitely different. Internet of things is a revolution which is not a future, which is already there. Capgemini has made a very good market into business with IoT. The type of leadership Manish sir carries, and especially in his center of excellence, is bringing a lot of research and new business innovations for his company. And we are really fortunate for you for sir giving us time. So now going to the more of subject topic on the relevance of IoT in the present feed, and how Internet of Things is important in the present industry. What would be the future, and what is it all about IoT for students to learn? So viewers, ये एक ऐसा session है where you would know every nitty-gritties of IoT, whether you are an expert in IoT, or you are an amateur, or you just have heard IoT from me. So from there to an expert, we'll have a takeaway from this session. So we will be also talking about some applications of IoT and how the future holds for IoT. That also will be taking it, and viewers are requested to keep their questions for the end, and we will try to take as many as possible. So just hold on. I think we Manish sir has a small presentation also. So we by the time we share the presentation with you, and get the things ready, we'll be coming back.
Okay. Are we able to see the screen?
Yes, sir. We can see, sir. So
Okay.
this
So,
presentation is specially made for this career Pathshala. I really thank you, sir. It was just yesterday we were talking, and today he's there with a presentation. So viewers, you are fortunate to have a professor like Manish today in your career, in your Pathshala today. So take the best out of it. I am learning as a PhD in electronics. I'm really looking forward for this session. Manish, sir, all yours.
yeah, thanks. So, see, IoT is not the thing of today, okay? Yeah, it has existed from past 20 years, okay? You might have heard about SCADA systems, CNC machines, industrial robots, right? Microprocessor controllers. We have been working in our colleges on some assembly language programming, as I think that there is a subject on that. Then sensors, actuators, computer networks, software and database. These are the terms that we hear, uh, not today, but they have been there in the industry for quite a while. But what has changed? Why there is so much of hype about IoT now, and why it was not there that much in those days, right? So the reason for this, primarily, if you see, it lies in the definition of IoT. Okay, So what an IoT or Internet of Things, right? It is what you call ecosystem which tries to connect the sensors and device over network or some kind of infrastructure, and it tries to collate the data onto some platform where you can do some analytics with it, and then you can make the data meaningful for your people, right? It could be management, it could be the people on the ground who field workers or the field engineers, or it could be some other third party vendors who would like to make a meaning out of that data, right? So uh, this technology over past 20 years, right, has become very what you call cheap. So in the sense that today, if you talk about buying a sensor or a device, right, it would not, no, it would be lesser than, within thousands and all those things. Earlier in those days, if you had to purchase all these things, the cost or the economy, was were not that great in terms of, the cost of procuring these systems was quite high. That's why it was only there in the industrial environment where no large equipments were there, and then sensors were tied to them, and there were some SCADA systems which were monitoring locally in the plant. But with the advent of internet, what has happened is, it has exposed literally all of this equipment or the whatever the assets, so-called hardware assets. It could be device like mobile, or it could be a sensing device or any gadgets that you have, Fitbit and everything. Right, today everything is can be the information can be quickly passed on the internet. So the accessibility has also become very easy in the past few years. So one is the economy of scale, the pricing or the procurement required for all the infrastructure, sensors, devices has gone down because of the sophistication of the industry, industrialization, and even the what do you call, the economy of scale. The technology has become affordable, and the other thing is accessibility. So over internet now, every data can be easily available, and with mobile revolution, everything is now at your fingertips, right? So this has further expedited this effort of IoT becoming so popular. And the last thing is our processing capacity. Earlier, no, used to have a mainframe-based system centrally located somewhere, large set of servers, and you have to go physically on those environments to see if something has gone wrong. And today we have cloud-based platforms. You can literally control anything from anywhere over the internet, and the processing power and the environment creation has become so easy, and so affordable that you can upload loads of data into this platform and do the analysis, right? So right from sensor devices to network and infrastructure, everything has become affordable, powerful, and accessible, right? So this has been the primary reason why IoT is now on top of the hype cycle, and everybody is trying to exploit this. If you see, everybody talks about digital transformation within a manufacturing plant, or even across various industries, right? Retail industry or anybody. Today, everybody talks about digital transformation. Now, IoT is one such thing, or if you call it Industry 4.0, this is nothing but the IoT revolution, and that is what IoT correlates to Industry 4.0, or digital transformation. So, if you talk about any such digital transformation within the industrial sector, IoT will be the definite component of it. And then the last thing is, how do we bring the change management? So people will also have to adapt to these things, right? So we will have to incorporate certain change management processes within the people, educate them about how the Internet of Things work, what are the precautions that need to be taken for IoT implementation, and all those kind of things, right? So that is the third aspect about change management. Now, if you see the growth of IoT in 2017, we had almost 170 billion of worth IoT devices in the market, and it is expected to exponentially grow. All these devices are to grow as we talk about smart cities and smart environments. All those things bring home automations. A lot of things are today come with sensors, and everything is even the vehicles are completely sensorized. If even if you are trying to reverse your car and everything, it does an indication that there is an obstacle. So a lot of advanced level of sensorization has happened in automotive industry. So you can see this just a small set of examples, Fitbits and all those things. Even your medical scanning devices, they come with a lot of digital scanning, and it has a lot of sensors which help you to do the analytics in terms of the diagnosis of the disease, right? So certainly these numbers are going to grow exponentially as each and every sector is impacted, and the transformation for digital is driven by enabling all the assets or the industrial assets or medical or devices, everything with a set of sensors. So you would certainly see that it is going to be ever growing market. Now, if you want to correlate IoT, I would give a human body analogy. So if you want to understand IoT as a technology, right? Uh, IoT has got sensing devices, it has got some data storage, processing, analytics, and then some action, right? This is what IoT is all about. Now, similarly, human body is the same set of things. So imagine your nervous system, right? And your body senses. So body senses acts as kind of sensors, and then the nervous systems are they carry that information over to different organs. You can say organ as assets or set of things, and also they are connected to the brain for doing the processing and storing of certain decisions, and based on the decisions you have some alternatives and you take some actions on top of it, right? So that is how your body functions. Similarly, an IoT would function, that there are set of sensors which are connected to devices. They would provide the information like what is the temperature around your environment, what is the pressure under which the equipment is operating, or know what is the vibration level of the equipment. Depending on the use case, it will sense this kind of functions. There are sensors which will pass this information to the device onto some kind of edge gateway, which will do some kind of local analytics, and it can pass this data onto the cloud. And from the cloud you can have the analytics onto mobile, then you can take some decisions and actions, right? So there is a very close analogy to human body, and I hope with that you get a good understanding of IoT when we relate this to human body operation.
Very much, sir, and definitely whatever is coming in the outside world, somewhere connecting it with the inside gives a very good analogy for the viewers to understand how IoT and is going to be applied, and definitely the applications in IoT will reach a phenomenal increase as the data which we have shared with the students. So definitely this stream is going into demand for the students who want to make career, and it is a very good opportunity where interdisciplinary departments can also look at working with IoT, whether it is an automobile car or mechanical engineer or maybe an electronics engineer or someone from electrical. So definitely this is going to have a great future, sir.
Right, and it gives a end-to-end exposure. So if you do anything in IoT, you can certainly be sure that you can encompass most of the technologies. Okay, so again, when we come to the topic of like how to make career in IoT, we have some specializations. It's not that you can be master of all, right? So you can be master of some of the aspects within IoT, and no, you can be jack of all just for your information how IoT works, right? That's how I will put. But yes, at the end I will talk about what are the career options in IoT. That time we will cover what specializations you can go for. Okay, moving on to the next piece. So this is what, no, at a high level breakdown of how wide an IoT can go. So a basic IoT can start with a machine-to-machine communication. Okay, so what you do with your mobile to mobile using Bluetooth, right? You do some share, no, they share it or those kind of things, or no, you do the Bluetooth file transfers. That is a very good example of machine to machine. Similarly, in the industry also, there are no the commands given by the machine. They go to the the actual equipment, and the equipment starts operating, right? So the industrial robots and all those things, they are kind of example of machine to machine. Okay, so the commands are given by the computer. They are some way automated, and based on that, some actions are happening in the background, and those robotic actions, or it could be any other device that may taking some action within the plant, right? So all those communication happening from the computer or the device to device is a machine to machine communication. Now, if you extend this beyond, say over internet, right? So now within a plant, you have what you call a set of machine. Then it comprises of multiple machines. Now, if you want to analyze how your different operating or the equipments are operating, and you want to see that all of them together, right? So you will have to understand the health of each of this equipment, and expose it on some kind of a dashboard. So that is nothing but no, you get that data, do the analysis, and then expose onto the internet. So that is nothing but an industrial internet. So say if you want to predict the health of your equipment, so you will monitor the various parameters like what is the pressure, vibration, temperature. Then you bring on your physics or whatever, instrumentation, or whatever the chemical. If it is a chemical plant, you will bring your chemical expertise and give that no flavor of domain to it, right? What does it really mean out of it, right? Is my threshold going to break down the equipment? Is that pressure threshold is reached out? So giving those meaningful what you call indications to it will be given by the specific industry engineers. So when it comes to IoT, it is not purely just about computer engineering, but it is all about various streams. It is combination based on which area you are operating. That specific sector expertise would certainly be required. Okay, now if you extend this outside the in what you call the industrial plant, say you have gadgets in your home, you can control the various assets, like you can control the television or the lighting controls within your home, the AC, everything you can control using mobile apps nowadays, right? The washing machine and all those things. So that is nothing but an Internet of Things. So anything, any device connecting over mobile, and you are able to do the communication with those devices. That is what it is, Internet of Things. And if you expand this over across various such networks, then it would lead to a Internet of Everything, right? So we started with a local setup. From local setup, we are going on to a, industrial or a plant setup, and then we are going to masses where you can talk about home automations and all those things, which is nothing but Internet of Things. And then you can talk about smart city, which is nothing but of Internet of Everything, where each of these components, everything are communicating to each other, and then the decisions are made in the smart city, right? You talk about the traffic lights, or any violation of rules can be tracked using CCTV, and there could be some alerts given, those kind of things. So it is leading to an Internet of Everything.
So truly said, like the smart cities, which is the vision of Honorable Prime Minister. So there's a lot into IoT. Even in Bhopal, we have the waste collection is totally monitored, and the vehicle tracking is being set so that the vehicle goes to the desired localities, and also dump it to a proper place. So it's being continuously monitored. So the future, this machine around you, and they are monitoring you. So
Right.
definitely, we are witnessing it now also.
Right. Yeah. So I think it has reached to masses now. You can see it in your daily life. And no, it's not that we are no. It's IoT is not an alien. You are actually operating an IoT in your day-to-day life.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's see what are the technologies that now I think we are coming to more interesting part for all of you. If I want to get into IoT, right, what do I need to learn, right? So these are some of the technologies which IoT is comprising of. So IoT needs some kind of a storage platform or a processing platform, which is nothing but cloud computing. To talk about platforms like AWS, Azure, IBM, these are some of the large cloud providers, and they do provide out of box IoT capabilities. While you can have your custom components as well, but this is some of the leading what you call platforms in cloud computing today, and has got out of box extensions for IoT. The other component is mobile. Everything want to now make real time decision, right? You want to operate, say you are out of the home, and by some chance you have forgotten to turn off any of your equipment within the home. You can control that through the mobile, right? You would like to have that ability. Say you're gone far away from your hometown, and something has kept on for a long time, right? And you would like to take some action on it, right? So you can really control. If your home automation is enabled, you can control all of these things at a fingertip. Similarly, in industry also, right? If you are going in a plant, you are a field engineer, right? You would like to have access to all the equipment information at fingertips, right? You would like to know how the machines are operating, and the environment, is it feasible? There could be some hazardous sometimes there is a gas leakage, and some kind of hazardous material leakage happens in the plant, right? So how can we ensure the field safety? And if they have, the field engineers have some gadgets which can alert them while they're on the shop floor, right? That this place is not good in or good operating conditions, or no, they or whatever the information they need from the backend systems, they can pull it quickly on the site, right? They are say outside the plant also, they want to pull the information quickly. They don't have to go back to their back office and call all those things, right? They can just plug into their mobile app and just access that information, whatever is needed, relevant information. It will be at your fingertips, right? So everything, we want to increase the efficiency of operations, and make it a real time operation. So that's why mobile networking is another key component. The next one is AI/ML. So IoT is all about predictability, right? When you consider IoT, it is nothing but predict when your machine is going to fail, predict what is your inventory going to exhaust, right? So a lot of predictions are required to make some decisions, right? So IoT, when the sensors give that information out of the equipment, it is like you get that information, and then there has to be some processing done before you can make a sense, right? For example, you a lot of you people might be going for doing a preventive health checkup, right? So then there is an analysis done, and then it is shared to you, right? Similarly, for the equipment also, right? There is a continuous analysis being done through the sensors. The information comes, and then that continuous analysis then is compared with some thresholds. If thresholds are broken, then it is time to repair, right? Or if they are going to break down, say 1 or 2 months down the line, right? If we get such kind of hints, then the entire factory operation, which would have gone down, machine going suddenly down one day, if we do some preventive maintenance, the operations are not going to be impacted, right? So that's how we can also bring down the downtime of the factory operation, increase the profitability, all those kind of things, right? And last thing is all about big data. So you talked about local sensors from coming from machines. Now they are going to be huge set of machines in a plant. Then if you talk about a smart city, there is a further huge set of devices which are going to uh, you know put dump lot of data. So it is going to be a huge amount of data in millions and trillions. Within a few seconds of time, you need to process that. So you need to understand what are the optimum big data techniques to implement, for doing that streaming of data onto cloud, so that you can do almost near real time analytics, right? So we have some of our project, where we are helping oil and gas exploration companies. They while they do their oil exploration in the sea, we have a lot of the sensors embedded within the sea bed, where they help to predict the conditions about tsunami. Okay, so this happens through a satellite communication, and a lot of data is getting passed every second onto the cloud from these sensors in embedded at the bottom of the sea, and then we get an indication of whether the environment is going to be good for operating for the exploration activity, right? So those hinting is going to certainly be helpful in terms of making operations efficient, and also for the safety of the employees who carry out these operations, right? So big data is also a very essential component when it comes to streaming this data over the from various assets onto the cloud, and then followed by an AML analytics, which is then displayed onto mobile. Now, these are some of the terms that you might hear when you are reading through any IoT material: M2M, MQTT, near field communication, RFID. I'm sure you would have experienced this, like RFID. You have RFID tags in your car, right? When you go to the toll plaza, automatically the RFID reader reads it, and you are able to you have already paid the toll to the fast lane, right? So this is a good example of RFID. Similarly, NFC tags, like your credit cards and all those things, right? When you tap them on the POS machines, right? You are able to make the payment. So they have those NFC tags, which are near field communication tags. Okay, same and real time operating systems. For for the transmission of data, there are various protocols. For between device to device, you can use a Bluetooth kind of communication protocol. For constrained devices, like sensors and all, you can use that AMQP or COAP protocols. And for communicating data, say, I think you are doing a lot of home what do you call, do it yourself kind of IoT implementation using Raspberry Pis and all, right? So you would have heard about MQTT protocol, which helps to transfer data from your Raspberry, from sensors to Raspberry, and so on, right? So these are some common things. Of course, we are not going to cover details of this, but these are some things you will come across in your when you read this IoT documentation or those kind of things, right? So IoT is completely all about protocols, and there are a lot of protocols now. The right choosing of a right protocol also becomes a kind of capability that you should have. What protocol should I use for what kind of communications? So that is also a factor. There is no such standardization. It is up to you what you find relevant, based on the communication capability of the device and the range. And then there are no edge devices which can do your local analytics. Then there is fog computing, which you can do for the edge analytics, and so on, right? Then there is a store forward mechanism, so you can store the data locally if the network is not available, and then you can forward whenever the network connectivity. So in the mining operations and all, right, where the network connectivity may not be so great, right? If you are going into the mine and you want to do some edge analytics and then stream the data later on, so this kind of store and forward kind of operations are very important. Where you can store the data, and whenever the connectivity is available, you can just stream it onto the cloud for the permanent analytics. And then a lot of variables are also used by field engineers, like there are smart watches. It can give them the instruction while they are on the field. They can also see what are the next tasks that they need to perform. So these are industrial watches, not like the Fitbits, but they are more rugged enough to be operating in a very what you call hazardous conditions, right? In a high temperature or no very rugged environment, no the gadget should not get destroyed even if it falls down and all those things, right? So all tough conditions, these gadgets have been no the hardware has been configured such a way that they can sustain in such conditions. So these are some industrial no variable devices. That lots such examples you can. In interest of time, I think no, we will move on to the next one. So
So one small question, like how is the difference between an embedded devices and IoT? Because are these IoTs also reprogrammable, and IoT, is it an extension of the embedded devices, or the embedded devices interconnected through a network is IoT all about?
Yeah. See, the typically all the equipment would come with a set of sensors and some control software, right? If you are into instrumentation engineering, right, there are the control systems, if you call, right, on the plants. They are nothing but there is some set of hardware, and then there is a embedded programming that is done into that piece of hardware, where you can control the actions of the equipment, right, by doing some commands, right? So that is nothing but embedded software. So embedded software is certainly required. Now, how much sophistication, right? Nowadays, there are Wi-Fi enabled assets, gadgets, right? You have the oven, toaster, all they are no Wi-Fi enabled, right? So nowadays the industrial equipments are also more advanced. However, there are existing brownfield organizations have been running this equipment from long time. They are not going to suddenly invest into new machineries, right? So then it becomes like combinations that you do the embedded programming onto those kind of softwares, which is like low level programming in Python or C or those kind of things. You deploy that onto their operating system. It could be real time operating system or a regular operating system, and then you extract that information from these sensing devices, and then you make it available from gateways onto the cloud, right? So the part of enabling the information over the internet is done through the gateways, right? So there are SCADA systems, no, the PLC systems that you might have heard, right? So these are some of the control systems. Now they were existing in the plant from long time, but now the only thing is that they are passing this information further onto the cloud through the gateways and making it available on mobile and internet. That is the only difference. Otherwise, embedded programming is certainly an essential component when it comes to getting the information from the sensors onto device, and then doing some meaningful interpretation at a edge level, what you call edge computing, no, at a local analytics. And if you want to then further process, no, send it to the cloud, then through the gateways you can stream it, right? So that is how the things are there. So embedded programming is very much an essential component. It is going to be there. It was earlier also there, right?
Sir.
Okay. So these are some of the benefits of an IoT implementation for an organization. As I mentioned, safety and security. Then you can know also optimize the usage of your plant. Like is the plant operating over capacity? You can determine that based on the information that gets from your equipment. You can do the analytics on the top of it. There could be downtimes reductions, right? By doing preventive maintenance, it could result into cost reduction and more profitability. Resource conservation also, sometimes like the water waste, no, wastewater management, all those kind of things, right? So it is nothing but a resource conservation kind of thing, right? Real time intelligence. So we can get some real imagery from the drones, and based on the image processing using AI ML and all, we can do some analytics and do some inferences. So if you want to, in the agriculture field, right, if you want to see the fertility of the soil, you can fly the drone, and based on the imagery, then you can do the analytics and then determine what is the fertility, and you can map it onto a 2D or a 3D map onto computer, and you can determine which areas are fertile, and then you can do the further decision making, right? So these are some examples that I'm giving, and of course better predictability, right? When your machines probably can go down, what is a good time to bring down the machines? Are they operating or as per the thresholds, or below thresholds, or whatever? Are they underutilized? So such kind of forecasting can be done. So these are some internal benefits. While from external benefits, you can see that customer can have the control in making the decisions, right? So today, earlier, if you had kept something on in your home, and you have gone out, there was no way that no you physically come and do the things here, right? But today with home automation, you can control some of those things, right, and save some cost, and that will be a very what you call a satisfying outcome for the end customer, right? Similarly, you can get your information while you are on the fly, right? So you can get information about the agriculture forecast or whatever, right? Any kind of such use cases, right? Even in retail sector, a lot of things they are doing IoTs, especially in US and all. Like if you are purchasing a particular item within a shelf, right? So the shelves are also kind of intelligent, made intelligent enough that what is the other thing that could be of complementary thing that they should buy if they have bought. For example, they are buying some bread. Would they like to buy some butter, right? So such kind of indications can be given while the customer is already into the store, right? If they has picked up certain things from the shelf, then what could be the relevant things? Then even doing smart checkouts, right? There are some automated shopping carts. Like moment you place the weight, and the item gets automatically added into the your final bill, right? So there is no wait queue at the end when you are making the final payment, right? So these are some of the examples at retail store, and it helps to boost the revenue generation because more the uptime for your plant, more the profit, more the productivity, and more outcomes. You can have more manufacturing done within same point of time. There are less downtimes. No, there is, and you get more accurate information about when your machine can potentially go down. So doing a preventive maintenance, and also in supply chain, right? You can have something like a use case about connected container. So your containers can be also transmitting the conditions. Where are they? You can track them. What are the conditions inside the container? If there are some perishable items, is the temperature getting maintained properly? All those information can be passed through IoT over the internet, and can be made available, and you can have better supply chain predictability when your like, what do you call items are going to be delivered at your place. Are they in good conditions? Everything can be tracked. So these are some of the networks and protocols we already covered some. So this is what I think IoT can go from a personal area network like Fitbits and all to local area network to metropolitan for smart city and a wide area network, right? So the scope is quite wide, and today there is no such standardization of protocol. There are a lot of protocols. So this is some kind of, so to say, complications that we have in IoT. However, with experience, you can you can decide the right protocols to be taken up for the implementation, and that is an area also where you can build your career around how to have a good network for an IoT. Now, as far as what you need to learn, right, in order to develop IoT capabilities. So these are some top programming languages. So if you are into embedded programming and all, you can work on C, C++, Java, which is you need to do inside the deploy the program into the device. Then there are some edge onto the edge which gets the data from your devices, and then do some local analytics, right? So you can get information from multiple such devices into plant and onto a central gateway, and you can do some local analytics there. And you can also stream that data. So for that also, Java, Python, and C++ are good. And finally, when you stream it onto cloud, right? So we went from a device level to a plant level, or a particular locality level, and then we went into cloud, which is over internet, right? So there, I think microservices or JavaScript, Node.js, and those kind Python-based services, all those kind of things, right? These kind of languages become of prominence. Okay, so based on what you choose the stream, right, which we will discuss later, these technologies would apply. And most common protocols are, of course, TCP/IP, Wi-Fi, Ethernet, and popular platforms that I mentioned are Azure, AWS, Google Cloud Platform, and even IBM, right? These are some IoT platforms, and even the protocols, right? How you transmit your data, HTTP, MQTT, WebSockets, right? So these are some of the things that you will come across as a developer. You need to be, equipped with these capabilities. Now it depends what kind of developer are you doing. Embedded programming, are you, are a cloud developer? Depends on that, and we will see that what are the options that available as we come towards the at the end of the session. Okay. Now, yeah. We will quickly go through an architecture of.
So one quick question coming from the viewers about uh, you very vividly and clearly आपने बताया कि how the four components of programming, technology and everything to be learned. So can you
Right.
also suggest some good online resources in the COVID times when
Uh,
they're missing classes and uh, we cannot have you every day giving
right.
all the
Right.
knowledge. So,
Right.
so
Right.
how some of the good learning websites, maybe where the
Yes.
where the students could go and have the online learning, just
Yes.
to give
Yeah.
them.
So today is the age of online learning. Okay. Even in our organization, I think we have switched to learn from anywhere and learn whatever you want to learn. Right. So we have a platform called Next in our organization, but internally it uses like Coursera or Udemy. So I think from a IoT perspective, right? Udemy is a good, got a whole lot of courses, practical courses which you can go through, and then you can do a specific certifications, which are offered by platforms like AWS, IBM, or Microsoft, right? So I would suggest to leverage Udemy or even some like Coursera or Pluralsight. These are some leading platforms that we are using in Capgemini. For to get some of our folks trained, and then of course some hands-on is required. So you need to use some do-it-yourself kits like Raspberry Pis and all. If you get an access to a SCADA system and no more industrial environment, nothing like it for doing actual IoT. But in absence of that, you can do some Raspberry based. It comes with the entire kit of sensors and Arduino, and Raspberry and the sensing devices. You can create some use cases for yourself to understand conceptually how the end-to-end integration works. Right from the sensor to gateway to cloud, and from cloud to analytics. I hope that answers the question.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir.
Yeah, so now we will quickly see no, a small, I would say not a deep dive, but a touching a point in terms of what IoT architecture looks like, right? So typically IoT at its basic level is nothing but sensing, transmission of information, and displaying it in some kind of an application, right? So these are the three components that you need to be aware of for any basic IoT setup. Now, when it comes over internet, right? So then connectivity becomes essential, and then the storage platform becomes essential, right? So these are some additional things. But at a local level, primarily it needs a sensor, some protocol to transmit the information, and some application to recognize it, right? So as I said, whatever SCADA systems are today in the plant and all those things, they are nothing but an example of an IoT. So IoT is nothing new, but because of the internet and mobile revolution and economy of scale, it has the things have got hype now, and they are becoming more popular. Okay, now this is what the breakdown of your component. So the things are nothing but you can talk about resistor, capacitor, semiconductor. So this is an area of interest now where you can design actually the layout of a PCB or whatever the gadgets or the device, right? So this could be an area of interest for the electronics engineers where you can go to the semiconductor design and all those kind of things, right? So this is completely the hardware design portion of it for creating the gadgets and all. Now once that is done, then there could be the network things, right? So you need to transmit this information onto the network using various wireless protocol gateways and all those things, right? So there you can very well play a role into a network engineer for enabling this gateways and assembling the entire ecosystem for IoT, implementing security and all those things, right? So this is a play for network engineers, and the other finally is in cloud. So no, this is for the platform. So once the information is transmitted, right, it is stored, and then a lot of processing is done. So within cloud, there are two aspects. One is like you can be a pure cloud developer, knowing about how to stream the data into cloud, store it, and expose it. And then there could be an AI/ML specialization where you can do actual analytics, right? Data science and all those kind of things. You can really build some predictive maintenance algorithms and predict the conditions, right? So when you go for IoT, right, it offers a lot of opportunities across various streams. It is not what you call it is not about just uh, the just about say cloud or say electronics or computers. It is not like that. It is a combination of streams, and where every stream has a role to play in it.
So it's like application more for business demand, and you have to come up with a solution. You are more of a solution maker with your logic, with programming, internet working, and giving a solution to a problem.
Yeah, yeah. So over a period of time, you will become a solution architect when you know end-to-end nitty-gritties of how an IoT system operates. However, to start beginners, you can start with in one special area. It could be for electronics people. It could be in hardware design or embedded for instrumentation people. It could be embedded programming. Then I think network protocols working with that 4G, 5G, and all those things, right? Even electronics teams, again can participate into that. And from a computer science engineering perspective, I think you can go into AI, ML analytics, and cloud computing and those kind of things, right? So and the experiment is robotics. So you can also mechanical people can get involved to take some action based on the analytics done. You can trigger the commands to the your industrial robots and all, right? So you can get into the robotics also. So it almost it encompasses every stream of it. Electrical engineers also can get into it, so all those things. Certainly it is a big network to which can bring on board a variety of engineers together. Sir, a quick time check. I have still few slides to go. I hope it is okay to continue.
Yes, so we are we are done with time, but I think we can complete it because it's very informative. I'm enjoying, and so are the viewers. So I think we can definitely, sir, go a bit deeper and have something which students cannot get from anywhere in one show. So yes, sir. Please, sir.
Okay. Thanks for
All depends upon your time also, sir. So how
you know,
much can you?
no.
Yes, sir.
I would like to take it to end and whatever. See, as I said, right, my intent is to make sure that the audience get benefited out of it, and they are able to draw some meaningful conclusions out of it, right? So I think I would like to do a complete job here rather than just leaving it half done.
Yes, sir. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
So the next thing is what are the layers of IoT, right? So it starts all from the things which are nothing but device, sensor, gadgets. Then on top of it, there is a connectivity or edge computing layer which talks about protocols like Wi-Fi, machine-to-machine communications, network protocols, right? Raspberry hardware kits and all those things. And then on top of that, there is a global infrastructure which is nothing but cloud. Within that, you can have a on-premise infrastructure, a hybrid environment, managed service, or a public cloud like AWS and all those things, right? Depending on the confidentiality of your data, you will have a choice to make what kind of a cloud infrastructure you should have. Typically, organization go for private infrastructure because they want to make sure that their data is secure, unless it is no more like a retail kind of a use case, or they where they can go on a public cloud. But otherwise, no, most of the organization they go for no private infrastructure within their premise and no completely control behind their firewalls. The Then we have a data ingestion. So post storage, we need to stream the data, right? So in data ingestion, you can have big data, storage of all the information coming from the sensors, and on top of that you then do the analytics. So here you do the reporting, mining, machine learning, right? And then do some meaningful analysis out of it, which can help you to make better decisions. Now, once this analytic is done, you need to display it in a nice UI on mobile, or some kind of a web app, or any other gadget, right? So we need to build some kind of applications. So these are custom built apps, and then finally, you need to educate your people that if these are the results coming out of your application, then what is the action you need to take, right? So this is a change management process where you will educate people, will set some standard operating guidelines with the new system in place, right? That is what how you do. So tomorrow in your college, if you are having some new system, new procedures, right now our education system has been going to go a lot of reorg, right? Recently there has been announcement by government, right? So there has to be a lot of change management, right? Similarly in IoT world also, right? After you do this digital transformation, people will have to operate differently. So you need to educate them. You need to understand how to make the usage and operation simplified for them. So that is another angle to it. So these are different layers of technology where you need to work for any IoT implementation. Now, if you see, the technical stack varies from primarily three things. One is the end devices, which is called constraint device. So it has got the operating system, hardware layer, field protocols, IoT protocols, and some remote device management. If you want to do some upgrades, installation, right? So all those kind of things. Then there are gateways and smart devices, right? So which comes with data management and messaging capabilities on top of whatever is available in the constraint device. And finally IoT platform. So you will see this see over a period of time, you would have seen that I am talking the same things again and again, but the thing is, these are the key components that go into any IoT. You will have some device which we call a constraint device, or the actual device on the ground, and then there are some transmitting device which are nothing but gateways, and then there are cloud platforms. So these are the three areas you will see commonly in an IoT, and these are some of the uh, technical stack, or what you call logical architecture for each of these components. Now, these are some of the platforms. Now, you had a question, right? How do we practice? Now, you can you can purchase this. Some You can go for commercial platforms like Azure, AWS, IBM, Siemens, GCP, or you can operate with some open source platforms. But you will definitely need these IoT platforms to complete your IoT implementation. Okay. Now we will move on to the industry use cases. I think you would like to understand how it gets applied in the industry. Although I have covered some of the examples, but here it gives a exhaustive view. So from three aspects for a consumer, organization, and government, right? So for consumer, the examples could be your health monitoring, Fitbit, smart home, the smart cars, wearable devices, gaming. This could be the consumer-oriented use, applications. Enterprise, which is organization-specific, like Industry 4.0, like a smart manufacturing plant, or connected container that I mentioned. Retail sector, I gave some examples, right? How to track and tap the intelligence about the customer buying patterns and all those things, right? When they do the actual shopping. Then logistics and supply chain, right? Giving up-to-date information about the availability of the inventory within the warehouse, and by sensor smart tracking and all those things. And even while the transport of the goods, how can you track the movements and give real-time inputs as to what is the impact on the overall delivery and all, right? So these are some examples. Defense and aerospace also, certainly the our air engines, and they come with a lot of sensors. And no, in the cockpit we get very, I would say, still not a very easy but a simplified view with which the decisions are made on the fly while taking some actions remotely as well as on the flight, right? So these are some organization specific use cases, and then government is like certainly for smart cities, water management system, electricity grids, right? Energy trading platforms, oil industries, environment protections, and law enforcement, right? In for the traffic management and for the environment, control, of what you call, say, a leakage of hazardous material, and all those kind of things can be prevented if we do some iotization. Any questions here?
So we had couple of questions, but we thought of taking it at the
Okay, no,
end.
no, no problem. So yeah, so this is further drill down. So IoT on long range devices, Wi-Fi and smartphone, right? So long range device is nothing but example of smart city, agriculture, fertility capturing through drones and all those things. The smartphone devices is nothing but no personal area network. This can be no wearable, yeah, the like AR, VR, your gadgets, drone based toys, and even safety, security kind of things, right? Home automation things. This come in the personal area network, whereas the smart city comes in a wide area network, and then there is a local area network, which is nothing but your home environment, like instrument, your healthcare instruments, then entertainment systems, appliances, and all those things, right? So these are the some of the technology based, like what can classify into long range Wi-Fi and smartphone based, or what you call short range implementations, right? Now this is again a deep dive of what you call various examples across various industry within manufacturing. You can use for predictive maintenance, supply chain predictability, energy utility. We talked about smart grids, healthcare. Like you can do early detection and diagnosis of health, proactive connected monitoring. Retail also, automated checkouts. We talked about inventory, footfall also we can track, right? How many people visited which aisle within the so that way we know the customer interest, and we can have some promotions, right? If there are certain areas which are not much explored, then they can launch some promotions so that people do visit those aisles as well within the the shopping area, right? Smart cities are some of the government public services. In insurance, we can study the driver behavior through telematics, a device that gets placed into your car and then studies how a good driver you are, and then they can do a charging of an insurance when it comes to renewals, or you are buying new insurance if you have any accident history and all those. So based on your driving patterns, in US they charge insurance and they have telematics devices, right? So they based on that, they place the insurances, and they for more commercial vehicles and all those, certainly those telematic devices help to track the drive this commercial driver behavior and all those things, right, in real time. Then mobility, like how the transport is, logistics operations is happening. Telecommunications area, like you can track the network activities during the COVID, right? The telco teams were able to predict where has the people population has gone. During the initial days, people have started trying to go to the some remote places from cities and all, right? So based on their mobile presence, right, they could draw a heat map that people have migrated from this place to this place, right? So some intelligent insights depending on the context, right? I'm just giving some practical examples that we recently see. Consumer IoT can be like connected cars, connected homes, wearables, and all the entertainment industry, VR and smart devices and all, right? So we talked about industrial segment and then consumer segment, correct? Finally, again, I think we covered in what can be a good IoT implementation. See, we cannot apply IoT for everything. There has to be a need for it, right? So what could be the need? So it could be, we need to improve the productivity of our workforce. Say on the field engineers, they want to get information on the fly. They want to get some alerts. So that is workforce productivity. If we want to improve the quality of the, we can do some asset verification whether the end quality is good through image analytics and all those things, right? So then the quality improvement can be the thing that we want to reduce downtime on the equipment on plant, right? That is related to reliability of operations. Reduction in material costs, right? So if we avoid wastage and no equipment, what you call misoperations, then that will it automatically result in reduction in material costs, right? So if we do preventive maintenance, if we do necessary verifications of the product manufactured by the equipment, we can definitely avoid the wastage of material. And in terms of customer satisfaction, I told a lot of such examples. You can get information in real time. You can make the decisions on the fly. You can control some of the things remotely. So these are some of the things that you can certainly look at. Also, theft reduction can be an area with CCTV monitoring and all those things, and image analytics, and some alerts of related to door opening and all, right. You can also do some theft reductions, and finally, life cycle predictions, right? So whether asset needs maintenance or no replacement, what is the it is end of life cycle, what is it, right? So based on the asset information health check that we do, we should be able to predict. So these are some of the areas where you can see the IoT use cases, or you can build one if it is not there. So in 2020, what are we seeing in IoT world, right? So smart homes and smart cities, as Dr. Anuj told, that it is certainly growing and use experience around it. Even our government has announced that we will be creating a lot of smart cities across India. So that work has kicked off, and this is a prime thing in telemedicine. Like a lot of nowadays with COVID and all, right, a lot of information is given to patients over video conference, and lot of checks are done over the over the remote, what you call equipment monitoring and all those things, right? So it is an area which is growing. Blockchain also is coming into play. Like, if you want to do supply chain, there are a lot of parties involved in it. Say if you are manufacturing some product, it may go through various wholesaler, retailer, and all those things before it arrives to you, right? So is there a damage, or is there a duplicate item being placed? We can put a blockchain around it and track and trace the authenticity of the component. And even in the retail sector, you can enhance the consumer experience, predictive maintenance, supply chain monitoring, right? And for all this, there is nothing. Everything requires a prediction and no a learning. So that's why AI ML is definitely an embedded part of IoT nowadays. So although AI ML is a specialization, but when we say of an IoT implementation, it is always incomplete without an AI ML component. It will always have an AI ML, because it is all about prediction, right? Prediction of whether your health is good, whether equipment is health is good, whether things are properly operating. So the AI, without AI ML, IoT is incomplete. Okay, so I will take a pause here before we move on to some of our Capgemini solutions, to take some questions. Any questions?
So yes, a couple of questions like students about the security concerns related to IoT, because being a wearable device, a device which with miniature device, less of programming or the memory management. So how the protocols could be written so that the interception or the hacking of the IoT devices can be limited. So definitely there's a huge concern. So Ayushi Singh Badodia wants to know about the security concerns on IoT. So
Okay.
we'll take few of the questions and then we definitely would like to see the video of the
Yeah.
Capgemini Center of Excellence. Uh, so, about the security concerns, sir.
Yeah, so security concern. That's why cyber security is a very key area. Cyber, and see, it depends on typically, as I said, organizations, large organizations, they don't want to go outside their firewall, right? So they build private clouds, on-premise things. They will not, go with the AWS implementation. Whereas retailers and all those things, they can go with AWS specific implementations. And of course, you can use. No, there are gateways which come with lot of embedded security, components in it. So you need not bother about it, right? So here, as a developer, right, you need to know about securing your endpoints. Like, I would say that much. Like, if you are exposing any API or if you are exposing any service, right, you should make sure you are encrypting that data, and you sure that gets transmitted, and you are making sure that those service APIs are going through some kind of security firewall, software firewall. It can be or anything, right? But beyond that, a lot of sophistication has happened, and they're ready-made. What do you call? Softwares that will take care of it, right? So as a developer, unless you are going into very specialization into cyber security part of the IoT, I think you should make sure that you are, encrypting the data that get transmitted over secure transmission layer, and also making sure your API endpoints are secure. Besides that, most of the things would get controlled to platform. So it is. See, we talked about IoT at a very basic level, but when it comes to a commercial level, there are a lot of platforms which come with ready-made implementations. So most of the time we go with the ready-made implementation. So we will have a hardware implementation partner, we will have some cyber security partner, right? So in Capgemini we have got no cyber security. Recently we acquired a company called Ledos, which is specialized in cyber security, and along with them we are building an ecosystem. So building an IoT in an industrial world, it is having an ecosystem of partners. You cannot run everything on your own. Okay, so you need to have a partner ecosystem where say AWS will be like your cloud partner or platform partner. Then there could be some cyber security company which you can, or software company which can be your security partner, right? Then there could be some device gateway manufacturer which can be your hardware partner, right? So these are the components of an ecosystem. So while you may want to manufacture everything yourself, but I think you need to have that kind of an expertise. Now it depends how much wide you want to go and how much deep you want to go, right? So if you are like at Capgemini, our focus is more on the software aspect and all those things. Whereas we have one of the unit which is specializing on some of the device manufacturing, which is called digital engineering services. And recently, we have Altran, also one of the company that which was specializing in digital engineering, which we have acquired, right? So that with that we are trying to develop an intelligent industry. But if you see, traditionally everybody will have their specializations, and that will unless you are getting deeper into a cyber security area, I would say you need to know which are the right software platforms that you need to integrate with to ensure that you are taking care of those things.
Sir. So, a question, a small question from my side, sir.
Yeah,
How much India is ready with the Make in Bharat, yeah, Make in India, or how the Make in India campaign with IoT can go, so that we India as a country of youth can do something big in IoT and digital.
I think there is lot of scope, and even there is these startups companies. Our government is boosting up, right? So I have seen there are hubs in Bangalore where they are allowing startups to come up with their ideas, and of course there is lot of scope for currently for building smart cities and all. So and this is like, if you have a very great idea and know very specific specialization in a very specific area, right? Not as an end-to-end IoT implementation, but a very specific area. Like say you have developed something in cyber security and gone deeper, right? Or say you have taken some software and on top of that you have built some use case and all those things, which is a common thing across what you call all the implementations. You can certainly have a scope for it. Okay, so I see a lot of scope in smart city, home automations. Even in agricultural sector, there is a lot of scope. So these are some things where government can definitely support you with your thought process, and if you come with things, then you will have to assemble. See, a lot of times if you have a good idea, right, you need not build from scratch. You can know figure out which is the right partner for providing that and form an ecosystem, and you can build it, right? So for example, you are not going to build your cloud. You will look for a cloud partner, or no, you will have some cloud on, right? Similarly, you will have to. There are a lot of specialized vendors for the chip manufacturing, or the PCB manufacturing and all those device manufacturing, right? So you need to figure out which are those specialized organizations for providing those components for you, and then you can build. If you have a good use case, you can bring along this like do a tie-ups with them, or figure out what is the best way, and then go do the implementations for a commercial scale. Because in Capgemini also, right, when we started our lab, it was like more of a, I would say, it was a learning journey. So initially in enthusiasm, we were not started with all raspberries and all those things, right? But when we thought of addressing some commercial use cases within our campus also, right? Then we were realizing that some of our homegrown solutions are not what you call up to the scale, or the conditions that we can expect for commercial conditions, right? Even we had a smart parking use case in our Capgemini campus, right? So we have one of our what you call space in Mumbai, where we have enabled smart parking system. Okay, so moment you come into the campus, you will come to know which are the vacant spaces. There will be some LEDs and all those things. Moment you drive in your car into that space, it will automatically change the color and for that space, and also it will give a view to management how many spaces get occupied in a month, what which areas and all those things, right? So those are some of the things that I would say that especially in smart city area, or no, even if you have some retail use cases, or no agriculture area, a lot of applications can be done as long as you have good idea, and you need not build from scratch these things. Otherwise, there are big players anyway. If you get into organizations like Capgemini and all those things, you will get opportunities to work on such things. But if you, as an individual, as an entrepreneur, you want to go, then I think I would like you to come with more areas that can help the rural people, and help this smart city kind of projects where government is looking for some innovative thoughts. I hope that.
So great, sir. Yes, it was really nice, and I think all the aspects are well covered. And we at least half an hour we increased our Pathshala time. Thank you so much for taking this extra effort, and your collaboration and acquiring Lido's cyber will definitely add a lot of cyber security, and the Capgemini arm of IoT will be definitely go stronger, sir. So. We learned a lot about IoT. We just wanted to know more about how Capgemini IoT things are doing, and you being a head of the Center of Excellence. So we were discussing about it, and you said, "Yes, probably Anuj, I'll try to play a video." So
Yeah.
yes,
So
go ahead.
are you able to see the video?
Uh, y- yes, sir, we can.
Yeah, so this is a lab that we have built in Mumbai, and it got built in 2017. I was fortunate, involved in the entire conceptualization of the lab, right from construction, and putting things together. So I have fortunate enough that organization gave me this opportunity, and it has evolved over the past 3 years. And we also invite students to to these labs. We have got an innovation exchange. Places across the globe, and we do invite students to visit this as a part of industrial visit. Also, we do some hackathons or close some participations on developing some real use cases as part of our innovation agenda.
The world is changing. Digital transformation is a key mandate for all the organizations and businesses are grappling with how to adopt breakthrough technologies that are game changers. Capgemini's Act Solutions Lab helps businesses transform their vision into reality.
Capgemini's innovative R&D center can help you co-create innovation, develop new technologies married with specific business needs to transform your business models.
The Act Solutions Lab helps accelerate digital transformation by leveraging business solutions contextualized for industries, technical accelerators that improve time to market, and Capgemini's experience driving business value through digital transformation initiatives.
The lab has been developed to build industry-specific business solutions, incubate and industrialize emerging technologies, adapt new implementation paradigms.
We use a very unique technology called the Digital Cloud Platform to show you the art of the possible. We give you a catalog of pre-built solutions specific to your business, and you can actually create very specific, unique, new innovations from this platform in days and hours rather than weeks and months.
Lab today has got 30 digital business solutions. These solutions address business challenges across various sectors such as manufacturing, retail, energy utilities, and healthcare.
When an industrial gas major was looking to monitor their cryogenic compressors, the lab built a robust solution leveraging IIoT and machine learning to help them identify failure points well before the breakdown. This helped them gradually adopt predictive maintenance. Similarly, our lab built an IoT solution for a quick serve restaurant that helped optimize energy consumption and flag variations in the restaurant's standard operating procedures. We deployed wearables to help improve safety and productivity outcomes delivered by temporary labor at an American refiner.
Thinking digital business transformation? Think Capgemini.
So that was a glimpse of what we have to offer. We have such labs across the globe, and across India as well. We have in Mumbai, Hyderabad, Pune, and Bangalore various such labs specializing in IoT, machine learning. Now we are setting a lab on 5G as well. So a lot of such things are there. I just wanted to give a glimpse. This one specializes in IoT, and we had started this initially with G's Predix platform, but later on we moved on to more agnostic platforms like on IoT using AWS and all those things, right? So that has been a very what do you call it, refreshing and in a challenging journey that I have lived with, and I'm sure with this you will get certainly motivated to build something on similar lines for you.
Definitely, sir. Like this was something an entire 360 degree of IoT from scratch to the application to the business need, and we also could get the glimpse of how the Capgemini is taking a lead. We are very happy to have you at Career Pathshala, sir. Also, equally happy to learn from the team of Capgemini that in 2021 they will be continue their hiring process for fresher engineers. Capgemini is one such company which has onboarded all the people whom they have given the offers in this pandemic. And even in past, Capgemini has been resilient with growth, acquiring companies again and again from Patni Computers, Canbay to many other companies we know have come together with Capgemini because of the leadership and because of the growth and the opportunities Capgemini provides. And today, having you at our Career Pathshala with one session of IoT is equivalent to, I think, I equal to 3 to 4 sessions. With the experience you bring in, the very minute details from a student point of view, you made this beautiful presentation gives that the amount of thoughts you have for youth of India. And definitely it's now the responsibility of the youth of our country to use knowledge as a weapon and take India into the as a digital leader globally. And
Yeah.
with leaders like you, sir, we definitely hope that students will definitely inspire and excel in whatever they are doing, and also in IoT. Your closing remarks for the students who are in
Yeah.
pandemic at home, a bit troubled with this internet bandwidth limitations and everything, every possibility at home. And hope you are also safe, sir. Mumbai is raining
Yes, very much.
heavily.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no
So
issues. Yeah. So yeah, and I think we have been able to manage, these things, work from home almost, when the pandemic, the lockdown started, right? Within 1 or 2 weeks, 95% of our team was operational from home, and that was something that I think kind of network connectivity. Although there are some hiccups, but I think we are able to support our clients and all those things. So it infrastructure has really improved, and new avenues have opened up during this pandemic. So as a closing remark, right, I think I just wanted to share something. I don't know whether I were able to see my screen. I think people would, the final thing they would like to understand what is there for their in career in IoT, right? So I had just put some tips for them. So if you see here, right, you have various options to go. An IoT job will not be coming as an IoT need for an IoT. Okay, it will be split across. So they may say, I need a cyber security expert. I need a cloud platform expert, right? I need a mobile developer. I need some industrial robotics person, hardware design people, a data engineer, right? Person for embedded programming, doing AI ML analytics, right? So it will come in bits and pieces. While the end goal can be an IoT, but if you see, there are a lot of roles available for people to perform and lot of skills to acquire. So although no, I feel that you should understand IoT conceptually and then do a specialization in one of these areas. Okay, so that no, you can make a career in IoT, right? So of course you cannot be a master of all, right? So that is what I had told earlier also in the beginning, that there has to be one specialization while you've done like your graduation. So you can do a conceptual graduation in IoT, and then you need to do your masters or PhD in one of these areas, right? So it definitely provides a lot of exposure, and some of these technologies would help you not only know in IoT implementation but in general career also. So for example, if you're developing capable skills in cloud computing, you can go for regular application development also, right? So it is helpful both ways. You can be part of IoT, you cannot be part of IoT, but you still have the skill. You can go into any other project as well, right? So IoT is kind of all-round exposure it gives, that if you develop any of these skills, it can be useful in any of other implementation also, technology implementation.
true, sir.
So,
So
so in pandemic, I
yes,
think
sir.
just last note for everyone, right? So it is very important for us to keep engaged, and I think a lot of good things have come out of this lockdown and pandemic. So let's take this positively. I think career Pathshala is one such outcome out of it.
Yes.
And it has opened up a lot of new opportunities. So rather than getting carried away by more negativity, I feel you should look at what are the positive aspects that have come up, how things have evolved, in past few months differently, how perspectives have changed, right? How thought process have been given a life from a personal as well as professional perspective. I think you should look at that, and look at some of the online learning platforms where you can now, with this I think good view, I believe it was a good overview for you to understand IoT in its entirety, you can pick up one such area of expertise and develop some capabilities in that, right? So nowadays the online platforms are quite capable. They do offer some cloud hands-on labs as well. So it's not just theoretical knowledge, right? And you can always get in touch with some of the experts, right? And if you get an opportunity, do visit Capgemini as innovation labs and all those things at any point of
Definitely, sir. And we have our chapter in Mumbai also. And
time.
maybe we also look forward for your visit to Bhopal and
Mm.
after the pandemic. And we hope that everything settles down soon. So, viewers, we had a very great, elaborate, special Pathshala. The time went away. I cannot say it's 1 hour 45 minutes. I was just enjoying every minute of it because it was enriched with a lot of knowledge, lot of new technologies explained in a very simple way. Every slide which I could see was bringing lot of data, a lot of things put together for easy understanding. And I really say hats off to the commitment you have for coming to this career Pathshala. I feel indebted, and आपने मतलब in just a small time bringing all things together and giving a very 360 degree overview of IoT has definitely brought a lot of knowledge to the students, and definitely they will inspire. Hope you see a lot of youngsters joining and shaking hands and saying that yes sir, I saw your video and it was really inspiring, can I have a selfie? So it's my moment of selfie with you. And Pratham, your vote of thanks to sir. And it's really sir awesome that to a person, a senior person like you spending 2 hours for the youth of this country. Phenomenal, sir. We are blessed to be in a country where leaders like you think for the academia. And academia definitely thanks Capgemini for the support you are
Yeah.
giving in, sir.
So I would like to thank Dr. Anuj and the entire organizing committee for coming with such a innovative concept to engage our youth during these challenging times. And I am always glad to get associated with any kind of academia forums. And every year on year, I have got into some different mode, and I think I have seen this as a completely different mode this year. I started with in my initial years 7 8 years back, or 10, almost 10 years, with recruiting, interviewing people, then getting onto some conducting some seminars from them on in classrooms, getting into as a panel member for them, for their hackathons, including some of the Smart India hackathon also I have done for some of the college, and I think even guiding them for some of the topics. So every 1 or 2 years I have tried different things, and I think that this year it is completely a different mode that I have opened up, being a video conference, connecting across India. Not only just one college, but I believe there are people across India who have connected in this forum. So I think every year it has given me a wider exposure, and always it is more to learn from you all as well. When I one intent of going to college is to see the enthusiasm of the our youth, and see what new things are happening, how our academia has evolved. So always that is a refreshing view that we get back, and we can also pass back what we have learned in past few years, how it can help you to further improvise, right? Some of the colleges, after seeing our labs, had asked, like, can you help us to build a lab, give some thoughts and all those things. So there are different experiences. Always it has been a pleasure, and that's why always I make an attempt to at least do a few such forums for academia every year.
Definitely, sir. And I remember one of the email I received recently about there was a girl and his father is watching Career Pathshala because he did engineering a quite back, and Career Pathshala is bringing a lot of new technologies. So even
Hmm.
the parents of some students are watching it. So those who have very interesting minds to know about IoT and everything. So I think
Hmm.
this is one of the best resource. People, even after the live telecast, people come up and watch this again and again. So thanks a lot, sir. I can just say one word, which is thank you so much. And Pratham, your final vote of thanks to sir for his
Yes.
time and for the information he brought in.
Sir, I would like to thank you to provide us such a wonderful session and all the information. And I really want to thank Anush Garg sir for holding this wonderful session with such a wonderful speaker from the company Capgemini. Thank you, sir.
Thank you
Thanks.
so much, sir. And we look forward for your blessings to the youth and coming back to Career Pathshala and also to Gopal, sir.
Sure. Thanks. It's my pleasure for having me invited, and stay safe, stay connected. I'm sure this pandemic will get over soon, and we will back to our normal. But it would have taught us some new things for sure.
Definitely, sir. Thank you so much. So this
Thank
is
you,
the
sir.
end of a very special session on IoT, guys. Catch you tomorrow for knowing more about cloud computing. So thank you, viewers, and thank you once again, Manish sir, for your time and for coming down to Career Parshala. Thank you so much. Take
Thanks.
care. Bye
Thanks.
bye.
Yeah. Have a great day.